Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a good rack. I've got the blank. Do I have a bingo? Nothing has jumped to mind, except perhaps hilting, which I'll check. That's fine. So, any reason to delay playing this? I don't think so. G isn't massively useful as a floater. So, hilting for 76. Well, that's a lot worse. But Grovey is good, and that would certainly sort the rack out. Nowhere for that at the moment. Good to see the S, but I'm looking to get rid of the V and the two Ys as soon as possible. Now I'm wondering about gyri, G-Y-R-Y. I know that can fit on the end of pane to make pangyri. Not quite sure if it exists as a singleton. Irie is good, beginning with an E, but that leaves the V and the G. So I'm looking to get rid of 3 out of G, V, Y and Y. Jive would do that onto an E, as would Grovey. Nothing that I've thought about really goes on the board as it stands. So hopefully my opponent doesn't change. Although if he does, I could play Vly, V-L-Y. Quite a blocky play, denying access to this double-double column and making some inroads into the rack problems. One of my Ys can go underneath the N to get doubled. And I've got the O for going under the G and the I. But that's the end of the story. YOG not good. So, opponent taking a while on his opening move, and one of the highest rated opponents I've played, so delighted to have the opportunity of playing against him. And good to get off to such a good start. I'm not sure if hilting takes an S. Now, this is good, because only 26 points for my opponent, but I can play Grovey and hang on to my solitary vowel. However, is there a better play in column 11? Well, the best I can do there is Goy, keeping V and Y. So, and Goy, let me see what that would score. 36 points, 12 more points. But I think this rack leave is close to that in terms of being better. Grovey for 24. That looks close to a bingo. My rack's still being hampered by the absence of an E or an A. I've got the LY and ILY ending. So I have Rosalie on my rack, but that's only a 6. Close to illusory, but I don't have it. Royally is good, which I have on my rack. It's really just the Y and the I which are problematic. 24 for my opponent, so not zooming off. Do any of these floaters help me? Can't see anything with the E. What about the G? No. Nothing with the U. H. I. L. Illusory not good, I'm sure. T. That looks close. Close to solitary. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, so where can I play off my Y and one of my I's and score? Just wondering if I can play through the Y of Grovey. Can't see a way of... Well, I can though, I can. What about this? 32 points, which is a good score. The Y not massively useful, and my rack leave is pretty good. It goes very well with the E, and the Y is going to prove a distraction to my opponent. Almost anything my opponent plays through oily is going to open bingo lanes. And IRS goes well with not just the E, but other floaters on this board. I'm going with this. Pretty good. It looks initially slightly bad with 2 pairs of duplicate tiles, but I'm fairly sure there's going to be a number of bingos here. Possibly not as a 7, since nothing has come to mind. But I do have a number of floaters to consider. The Y, not useful. What about the L? Not seeing anything. So how about the H? No. Well, the I doesn't look promising. How about the L? Already considered. T. No. Now I have I have other floaters to consider, but I'm just pausing there because I have the IEST ending in case that prompts a play, and it doesn't. So how about the N? Wow, I'm not even identifying candidate plays, regardless of whether they fit on the board. And yet this rack does look good. If I can't bingo, I'm going to struggle to score. So what about the floaters in gouge? The O and U don't look promising. How about the G? Tiger eyes not good. Not seeing anything, and the E not good. Well, how frustrating. I thought when I saw this rack, my first thoughts was I would have a choice of bingos, but I'm yet to identify one. So Niteries and Erinites are the bingos through the N. Well, neither goes, but at least I've spotted them. Is there really nothing through the L? Tyleries. Great. Well, that goes through the L of hilting. It doesn't go through the L of oily. But I do have a bingo. Great. The plan has worked. The left-hand side of the board has been left available. So I have a bingo, Tyleries. Do I have a better one? Because that doesn't even get doubled. And I haven't totally given up on there being a 7 with this rack. But I probably ought to. I guess H is the obvious tile through which I would have a much higher scoring bingo. It would certainly get doubled. But I'm just not seeing it. I have failed to get Tyleries before. Can't remember when, but it's not a word which I find easily comes to mind. So Tyleries for 62. Well, another rack which looks close to a bingo but with problems. The problems in this case being 5 vowels. Now there are 5 vowel bingos, both with 7 and 8 letters, but they're pretty tricky to spot. And nothing's coming to mind. I would have Euclidean through a C and an N. Okay, opponent's putting together a couple of good scores. He's only a bingo behind. So ideally, I'll keep scoring. I have Ordile on my rack as a 7. Sorry, as a 6. I would have Dowlier through an O. I can't see a 6 ending with A or I. I do have Hauled in column 4, which has some merit. Well, mainly that it takes out the H as a floater. Not so good is the rack leave, I and E, vulnerable to duplicates, although the I's relatively depleted. I don't have to take out that H. What I'm really looking to do is to sort the rack out. So a play of EAU would do that. Or AUE. Can't get that to score very much underneath oily. What about parallel to Tyleries? No, nothing there. I don't have anything to go in front of woe. 14 minutes on my clock. I can't see anywhere for or dial. I thought for a moment I did, but UI not good. I don't want to play it in column 5, sticking an A in the middle of row A. That's unnecessary. I have dilute T. But again, that provides opportunities for my opponent, bingo lanes and access to triple word squares. So I'm going to go with hold. The rack leave not the worst in the world. The E is always a good tile to have. And hold is turning over tiles with a blank still out there. Wow, look at that. That is a great pickup. I have ditones and stonied on my rack. Still this floating E of gouge. And I'm just commenting on that as being more of a danger than an opportunity for me. So, does hilting take an S? I would not play this in a game with penalty challenge. No, it does not. So, is there anywhere for ditones or stonied? K takes nothing in front. So, having been delighted to see this rack, suddenly it's not looking so good. Very few 7-letter lanes on this board. Do I have anything with this rack plus an E? If I do, it definitely plays. Side note. Yep, pretty sure of that. Side note, 01. And also 05. 01 scores more. 05 stops my opponent bingoing down in column 1. But I think when you're playing against a really top player, I think it's helpful to go out all guns blazing. And if opponent does respond to my bingo with a bingo, he'll be creating new opportunities. Over half the tiles have gone, and I lead by about 90 points. Great. Opponent opens new bingo lanes, only scores 14 points, and side note remains available. Let's find out if this is good. Pretty sure it is. Bang. And this actually looks quite a nice rack, or even without the U, because I've got an IA and N and T for chi, chin, and cat. Plus the S, plus the U of bunce. I can't see a bingo through that. ISO quant not good. Through YA I would have Yakona. What I could do is play chi and key, taking out column 15, but column 15 possibly more useful to me than my opponent, because my opponent is going to be looking more for bingos, and a play in column 15 is going to wreck his rack, burning off 6 tiles. Now I could play cats in column 1, taking out probably the hottest bingo lane on the board. Chin's also in that spot, and that would be better rack leave. Although 5 A's left, only 2 I's and 2 O's, but the A a more useful tile. Wow, look at this, there's another available U. Opponent bingos, here we go. Suddenly not quite, no, yes he does bingo. Wow, he was a long way behind because he's still a bingo behind. So, I'm looking to see if he's provided any opportunities for my Q, and he hasn't. I could play Chi and in. Well, far better is to play Chi and Chi down here. 47 points, that's big. I've only just spotted that place, and it takes out the S, and the rack leave is pretty good. It's not the best rack leave in the world, but it's a very good 5-letter set. Is there any other Q spot I've overlooked? 13 minutes on my clock. Wow, well there is, because there's another U available here for a square word. which would be pretty nice, even as a non-bingo, if it could stretch to underneath the eye of Oily. I'm not seeing anything. I'm going with this. Poor, very poor pickup. F and P. Very unfortunate. However, I have a 130-point lead. And just 23 tiles in the bag. So, I'm looking to play off F and P. Certainly the F. So I have FOP and FAP on my rack. And FAP plays above Age in the middle of Romages. Do I have something at A1? And my opponent might be drawn to A1 in the sense that it creates new bingo lanes. Now, I'm not too far off Pantoufs, but I think that requires a floating, possibly UF and E, or it might just be a figment. Certainly when you're playing against much higher rated players, you don't really feel comfortable until the game is in the bag, and that's not the case in this game, despite my 130-point lead. But FAP over Romages would be pretty good. Decent score, decent rack leave. And getting rid of a high scoring spot for my opponent. So, what if that's blocked? Not sure I've... Fromages is good. Fromages. So I would have FOP in column 3. For 30 points. So, I'm going to play one of those. Preference is the row A play. It scores more, and it denies my opponent more. F is the only front hook for Romages, and there's still an F unseen, but an F in second place, not many bingos with that. Nine minutes on my opponent's clock. This G not particularly useful with this rack. I wonder if there are some 8s with this rack. So I've got the post prefix. Well, I'm just not seeing them if they're there. No S's left. The last one is on my rack. There's a blank to come, which is obviously the most useful of the unseen tiles. Let me check the vowel consonant balance. 12 vowels out of 30 tiles. Okay, so the bag is slightly consonant heavy, but it's actually fairly balanced. Now my P can go in front of ounce. So I could have a play which ends OP or AP. I can see panto, but I can't see a word ending in the way described. Wow, look at that. Wow, double wow, because I have my fat play in row A, but opponent has opened the board up for a triple. But he's 120 points behind. Fap scores 42. I could outrun a triple, and triples in any event are rare. So Fap for 42. Wow, that is a pickup. Surely I am bingoing here. I have tonners in row C, beginning under PE. And I'm sure I have other plays. Do I have a triple? I've got a 160-point lead. So this rack plus an L. Well, opponent's taken that out. So I can play stuns for 76. And do I have a play beginning underneath FA? I have 11 minutes on my clock. So let me put this back. What would a play beginning under FA look like? And is that the best spot in any event? I think so. There are so many overlaps, it's going to outscore a play in column 1. So a play here, my O or my E can go underneath AG. My T probably goes underneath the S. My N probably under PN. Let's imagine my E here. And maybe the play ending ONS. So what goes after FA? B does, D does, E, G, N, P, R, S, T, W, X, Y. That isn't working. Does it help to do this? I'm just mentally running through the hooks for FA. I think I'll just run through everything in front of on tens. No. So what's the other alternative? A play beginning non. Or nos. I'm not seeing anything. So let me go back to what I did see, which was stuns for 76. Well, the rack's dreadful, but it doesn't matter because I am 200 points in the lead. I'm definitely going to win this game. There are only 5 tiles in the bag. And only 4 of them are, or 4 of the unseen tiles are vowels, so it would be nice to preserve my E if I can. And there are the floaters in Law-An. An opponent's play of Law-An suggests that he was drowning in vowels, which was a little unfortunate given the relative shortage of vowels in the unseen tiles from my perspective. And I've also got this A and E combo here. Can't see anything with the Z on that A. I have was through the U, which is quite nice. If there are 3 tiles in the bag, then I would be looking to play off just 2, so that could come in handy. Opponent takes it out, burns a vowel. So I don't have to play off my Z, and there are a ton of available vowels on this board. 9 minutes on my clock. There are 3 tiles in the bag. Could both be consonants, so I'd like to hang on to my E. So I could play whiz through the I. What about getting rid of some of my other tiles? Tempting to play whiz, provides nothing. Gets rid of my highest scoring tile. Just considering a play in column 12, ZEN something, can't see one, can't see anything down from the L. So whiz for 15. Wow. I draw a vowel, pretty useful. Pre-comb not good. Can't see another bingo with this rack, but that extra vowel means I should fairly comfortably be able to go out in 2. 8 remaining tiles, they're all my opponents. Opponent could have a bingo through an E. He would have Fervida, but I think it's pretty unlikely. Stuns prevents a 6-letter play in column 15. 5 minutes on my opponent's clock. I feel I should know who my opponent is. So let me see the publicly available information about him. Marlon Prudencio from Singapore. He's a top player. Finishing 6th at the Westpac event in Perth, which was my first ever tournament vlog. Wasn't intentional. I happened to be just sitting in the front row watching the final, and had my iPad and just started filming with it and captured the moment when the commentator said we have a new world champion. So that felt pretty special to have captured that on video, and that really started my sequence of tournament vlogs. Anyway, Marlon finished 6th out of that very high quality field. And he's clearly had a bad run of tiles in this game to be under 300 as the end approaches, and his luck doesn't seem to have changed given the remaining tiles. Now, after all that chat, what do I have with this rack? Well, I thought for a moment I had Scumber, but you're not good. Can't see anything down from the L. Well, what about putting my P in front of the L? I was just wondering about Plomb, but I don't think that's good. 4 minutes on my opponent's clock. I have high scoring tiles, as does my opponent, but there's nowhere great for them. And look at this, none of my high scoring tiles goes underneath the I, so I don't have a play in row I. Opponent does play just 23 points. I don't think he's going to go out in 1 with this rack. He would do if he had an O for Vord or an I for Driver. I don't think he's going to do that, so I need to plan an out in 2. I have 8 minutes. Well, not so much plan 1 as do 1. Wow, this is unfortunate because nothing goes under I, which takes out row I, but it also takes out row M. So I do have an O, which goes underneath the I, and my M can go underneath Yo. So if I had a play ending MO or BO, but I don't. This could be tricky. Nothing goes in front of FE. If I play Emo, I'm burning both my vowels. I could play Lopa, keeping BCM. I think this is what I need to do, is find somewhere I can play off high scoring, or a number of my high scoring tiles. So Scum does do that, burns off the C and the M, and I'm left with Probe and Rebop. Can't see anywhere for them. The 2 N's in the middle of Ston don't really favour a rack with only 2 vowels. Best I can do there is Moa. And pretty much, I'm not interested in score, I'm just interested in going out in 2. Can't do that with Lopa. Nombre, not good. Well, this game has slowed down at the death. I'm just struggling to see an out in 2. I'm pretty sure there is one. I thought I had up come for a moment, i.e. not good. So what's the best I can do beginning with G? Can't see anything. So what about a play beginning PL which doesn't get tripled? Wow, I would have problem if the L was in the right spot. So the best I can do, I think, is pleb. Can I go out with corm, which is good as a 4-letter play? Well, this is frustrating. I'm sure I'm missing something here. Pleb is only 20 points, but maybe I should just take it. I'm going with this. I'm not sure this is making great viewing. Pleb for 20. So I haven't seen anywhere to go out with corm. Mew crow is good, and mew core, but that doesn't work. I have got scum. I have mock, MOC. So I have options to play, I just don't have an out in one at the moment. Two minutes on my opponent's clock. Now, maybe I didn't fully consider this K, because of course my C can go in front of it. I could have played Brock, I think. But that keeps EMP. And I didn't consider this EEO set of vowels. So I could have played plebe there, but that's just burning the same tiles as I've used at the top here. So I have scum for 8. And mock for more. 20 points. Just 1 minute on my opponent's clock. Oily looked like it was going to be a more useful opportunity than it is in terms of plays in row M. I think it's just the absence of high scoring tiles which go underneath the eye, which has meant that that stayed available. Opponent down to his last minute. And a pretty unprepossessing rack he has. Pleb does take an E after it, but that's not much use to my opponent. I think the best he can do with that is ERR. Very, very little time for my opponent. He's played... look at that. If I'd kept my E, I would have had a front hook for Vade. So I've got 4 minutes. I haven't seen anywhere for as an out. So I'm going with mock for 20. Now opponent does have and plebe, should he wish to play that. And he's also got and evade, which probably scores more. And the final score, 335 to my opponent, 514 to me, a winning margin of 179 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Always good to get over 500. And this was my opening rack. I saw Hilting, but Chitlin also available for the same score. Opponent's rack, lots of vowels. Plays Geijo. Wow, look at that. Groovy was playable for 2 more points than Grovy. And even though the O helps the Y, I think Soy is not 2 points better than SY as a rack leave, so I'm still happy with Grovy. Opponent's rack, pretty unpleasant, plays Gouge. And this is my rack, and I went with Oily, and I still like that. Opponent plays Hottie. And now, Tylery's was the only bingo, so delighted to have spotted that. Opponent plays Nor. I now have vowels. A Jew, I didn't consider that. K5. Pretty good. What did I do? I play Hauled for 20. Yeah, that's up there in the mix, but EL definitely better than EI. Opponent's rack looks close to a bingo, plays Unce. And I have Side Note, and Ditones does play because of Ounce. B3, Stonied, again because of Ounce. C4, Aundia. So, Side Note was the only bingo, apart from opportunities provided by Unce. Opponent plays Romages, which was a great spot. And now I have QI, which just happens in games where the tiles are going your way. So I've now got a 130 point lead, and that's very difficult for my opponent to overcome with just 20 tiles in the bag, especially when you're sitting there with 6 vowels. So he plays Law-An. Law-An from this, yeah, it was just a vowel swamp situation he was dealing with. I play Fap. Horrible vowels for my opponent. Plays Idea. Now, C7. So there was a play across here, Newton's for 81. It was the only one. Well done if you spotted that. I played Stuns for 5 fewer points. Opponent plays Axe. And now there are 3 tiles in the bag. Bez, B13. Okay, but that empties the bag. It's a horrible rack leave. So I actually prefer my play of Whiz. I think the E is very valuable when you've got 4 consonants. Opponent plays Fib. Now, did I have an out in 2 here? Just looking immediately down this right hand side. A1 Implore. Well, that's rubbish, even if I can go out, because my opponent can stick a D on the end for a big score. So there is no obvious out in 2 here. I play player. Opponent plays Evade. And I play Mock for 20, but A14. Up here, Mo was available for 28. Losing 8 on countback, but still a better play than Mock by a couple of points. And that was the end of that. So, absolutely fantastic game against a top opponent. Got off to a great start with a blank on my opening rack and a bingo which played. And I got a couple of other bingos down, or 3 other bingos down, and just kept on scoring and never got into real difficulty. My opponent was struggling with a succession of terrible racks, which was fantastic. So I was able to amass over 500 points and 180 points of spread. So absolutely massive win. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.